Hello there, Internet, and welcome back to Geeky Ent. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Comic-Con and the badge process pickup and the actual process of stressful events to actually get those badges that people cherish. This could also be applied not only to San Diego Comic-Con, but to New York Comic-Con as well, or any Comic-Con that utilizes a random virtual waiting room experience. So, Mary and I have been to Comic Con hell and back.
Oh yeah,
We've been disappointed before numerous times,
we sold a
and
couple of souls.
we've even contemplated saying, you know what, we're going to go to New York this year. And then we got into San Diego because both Mary and I reside outside here in Southern California. So we were going to get this out a little bit earlier, but we were still coming down from the events of the San Diego Comic-Con badge pickup. So, Mary, I'm going to hand it off to you to explain how the initial process works in terms of receiving that email. Um, new, how do I put this? First timers versus returning people. And I'll chime in here because I always let you just handle it and whatever we need to do, we'll go from there. So, let's talk
Right.
about this.
All right. So with, I'm not sure exactly how the New York process works. So this is just for the San Diego process. There's two different ways that you can get in if you are returning. So if you've been to Comic Con previously, you obviously have a Comic Con member ID, which you get by signing up on the Comic Con website. If you don't have one, then I suggest you get one because that's really the only way that you're able to get tickets if you're ever interested in getting tickets for this event. So, with the Comic Con ID, if you've attended Comic Con in previous years, um, they know that you've attended because there's an RFID system set up on the badges. So, whenever you tap or swipe that badge, as soon as you enter, it automatically sends a ping to the system. Hey, this person attended. So with that,
So, sorry, what does RFID stand for? This is the scientist in me.
I'm not
Radio frequency identification detection.
that. I'm really bad with acronyms, and you know that.
If I had a caller right now, I'd pop it. So, anyways, continue on, because I'm learning here myself.
Anywho, yeah, it pings that you've attended, and when it comes down to the first registration, which is called returning registration. Returning is like I said, or yeah, like I said it before, for people that have attended in the past. You receive an email saying, "Hey, we saw that you went to Comic Con this year. We're gonna start our sale for next year. We're going to start it on this date. Be prepared to sign up." So on the day of, well, actually before the day of, like maybe like 2 days before, they'll email you a link and give you instructions for a waiting room. The waiting room opens every time, whether it's returning or opening at 8 a.m. You have from 8 a.m. to literally 8:59 a.m. on the dot, Pacific time, to log in to that system to solidify your seat in the waiting room. Once you're in the waiting room and they open up the queue, they start pulling people randomly from the queue to actually get in. Now, once you're in, you're able to purchase a ticket for yourself and two other members if you choose. If you choose to do that, obviously make sure it's someone you trust. That way you get your money and you're not shafted later on. We'll go through that long story later. But anywho, once you purchase your tickets, you're able to pick from which amount of days that you want to go to. Comic Con is normally 4 days, 5 days, including preview night. Not everyone gets preview night. It's very limited on the seats for that one. You're only able to get preview night if you purchase from the other days, which is Wednesday through Sunday. It's like 5 days, right?
Well,
4 days.
third, you have to purchase all four major days,
Yeah.
four main days, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If
Okay, so
you
that preview
purchase
night.
those 4 days, then you actually get the opportunity to pick up the fifth night, technically, which is called preview night. And that one is only from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
It's
And
only a shopping day.
And it's basically only a shopping day. Those are for people that are the hardcore collectors that actually want to have the best shot at obtaining getting the convention exclusives. The reason being is because I don't know exactly how many people get in there, but I do know that. Go
It's
ahead.
very limited,
Right? Go on.
and not every vendor opens up a booth on preview night.
Correct.
About Funko, forget about it. They're
Correct.
not open on preview night.
Well, we can
Um,
forget about Funko altogether too. I mean, that's just another thing.
not necessarily. I mean, you can get lucky.
You do. I don't.
Very rarely.
Just for the record, too, people, I personally have never gotten into San Diego Comic Con. This has been, I think, sixth or seventh year straight. I forget, I lost count. To where me personally, Danny, have never gotten into Comic
So
Con.
Danny's never been picked from the queue, and he's feeling salty about this.
So that's the other reason why I say we're going to go ahead and talk about some tips later on here, um, as to why it is so critical to do the things that we're recommending here on this YouTube video. So go on, Mary, talk about more. So
So
we're in the waiting room.
we were in the waiting room, and then they randomly start picking people. If you get
Yes.
lucky and they pick you, unlike our friend here,
Unlike other people. Yes, like
yeah. So if they pick you, then you purchase the tickets for yourself and whomever else, and you go from there. And then you get, after 24 hours, you get an email saying, "Yeah, your badges were processed. Congratulations, virtually." It's a big accomplishment. That's one less stress you have to worry about. One
true.
less. So, if you don't get tickets on returning, or if you've never been, this is the big one. The big one is open registration. With open registration, they open it up to everyone who has a Comic Con member ID. From there, it's the same process as returning. You log into the waiting room, they randomly pull from that. And this is your last chance to purchase outside of winning a contest, or if someone decides, like some company decides to have like an auction. This is really your last chance to get tickets.
Technically speaking, it's the only chance because I believe, I think we talked about this too. Returning registration, they can't. If you think about it in a common sense, if you open up tickets for everybody that's coming back for returning registration and say just everybody buy it, that's going to give people who have never been,
And they won't have a chance.
they will not have a chance. So I was actually trying to look this up and try to find out how many badges they actually do release on on which either being returning or open. Um, but I do know that in many years ago, they didn't have the RFID uh, tag that Mary was discussing. Um, so yeah, it's gotten a lot more secure and a lot more efficient in terms of how they control the massive crowds and everything that do show up at these comic conventions. But we do have experience with San Diego specifically, and WonderCon is San Diego Comic Con's little brother, which is in April. And also, the Wizard World, I think it's Wizard World, I'm not too exactly sure, but they never announce when these returning dates or these registration dates are happening. They've changed every year. This year specifically, it is beyond early. So before we go into more talking with Mary, Comic Con is the Mecca, and it's always held usually the third weekend in July. That's always been the solid time, so it's always like around July 20th, around there, and it's for that third weekend. If you keep that in mind, Mary will go and talk about more of this stuff, but just for reference, the dates are going to be all over the place in terms of when they actually do decide to release those badges. Did
Yeah.
I screw that up a little bit? Yeah. My whole point
No,
was it's gotten
my
earlier and
mind was
earlier.
like somewhere completely different. So like, sorry.
Either
Like
way, yeah.
asking, right?
Either way, so returning registration always happens first. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
However, um, like I mentioned, it happens in July. So returning registration, I think, was September of this year. I'm not too exactly sure. October.
It was October.
It was October.
And
So
then we had like,
Yeah, so returning
Like,
registration October, we were thinking okay because that's usually around the time, and then usually open registration, which people can all across the world just come in and try their luck, usually around March or April.
yeah.
This year, for some
Oh,
miraculous reason,
right. Well,
I think they wanted to do it as early as possible because of all the complications they've had, but open registration for San Diego Comic-Con, which happens July 2020, happened on November what? Or is it October? I forget.
no, it was November of
It
this
was
year.
like the first Saturday, like November 6th, I think is
Mhm.
what it was.
I can look it up. Give me a second.
Uh, November 9th
Oh,
or
you got it?
16th. It was either November 9th or the 16th. My point is, people, Comic-Con is in July, and people have what's called the holidays and everything now coming up, so they have
So,
to spend. It was November 16th. The
correct.
whole point is it's, I don't know, 7 months plus out to actually utilize this, and they require the money up front. And each day can run anywhere from 45 to 60 to 70 bucks a day.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the whole process there. So to chime back in on the process, you basically wait into a virtual waiting room, and it's no joke. It's got a little blue
It's
spinning
very
wheel,
stressful.
and you follow it, and they take a
Just
group of
think of the
people.
blueprint of death,
They call it
but
the
for
blue ring of death, and it just keeps on spinning and spinning
yeah,
and spinning. And every 2 minutes, your page refreshes, and they randomly take people in. So it's a lotto chance. So a lot of people get disturbed because they want, certain days or whatever it is. And for people like Mary and I, we like to go all 5 days because we like to go see the collectibles. And preview night's actually a little bit more,
cosplay.
yes. Um, but um, for example, too, if you're gonna want like the hardcore collectibles that aren't on the lottery site, so
Need
for
every chance you can get.
yeah, so basically to help out a little bit, so your big hitters are Funko, Mattel, Hasbro. Those companies are on a lotto base for terms of grabbing convention exclusives. So you don't have to worry about rushing to wait in a line to grab your Funko exclusive. That's a lotto shot, just like the badge process. For other companies such as NECA, Mezco, Figpin, those companies are, rumor has it, I think Mezco may end up going to the lotto system, but basically that's first come, first serve. You can go there and wait in the line. So you have to strategically plan your priorities. For example, I am a huge Ninja Turtle fan, and I am also a fan of Blizzard games. So, for some reason this year, NECA's line for their Ninja Turtle exclusive set was, Mary, you can explain how bad it was.
I don't want to relive that.
So Mary is very very calm and peaceful. She's very non-confrontational, but what she told me is
I'm a
something that I can,
pacifist.
yeah, you're pacifist, but there's something that I can't say that she told me that night. But basically, it got to her, and it actually got to me too. Long story short, she spent almost 2 hours waiting in line because the lines get cut off and broken off, and they do line breaks. It's just a whole big mess. So one key thing that I do recommend for convention exclusives and actual badge pickup are to have a group of either close friends or a group of people, and it is a straight numbers game. The
Yeah,
more people you try to get in, it does um, dilute the actual odds, but you get
it helps
the
your
higher the chances of getting in. So for us, I don't even know how Mary found it, but she's very good and tech savvy. She found a. Are we gonna do a plug for them? I think we should do a plug.
sure.
All right. The San Diego Comic Con has a Reddit group, and that's as much as I know. You can elaborate more. There are a few hundred people in this group, and it's pretty handy to be involved.
Yeah, so I was randomly browsing Reddit. I was at work bored one day, and there's certain subs that I go on. This case, it was the Comic Con sub, and it was, oh yeah, like I'm starting this like group. It helps if you're looking for like people, to meet when you're there, or like to get in for badges and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, because I have my small group that I go with. It's slowly building as the years go by.
It has, yes, it has started
Cool,
off.
meet new people. So I joined the group, and I mean, from there it's been amazing. We've met really amazing people. Um, Shout out Team Forcos if you guys are listening to this.
I can't
Uh,
even say it right, but I just know it's Funkuos. See, I
it'll
can't even say it. I just go Team Awesome, and that's us.
it's just a yeah fun crazy night. We're not even going to go into how we got that name. It was one of those things you had to be there for. Um, but yeah, so every year we all get together and we do buying groups and we just help each other out virtually. If one of us gets in or one of us doesn't get in, we all just go around and make sure that everyone at least gets a chance to get in. Um, so if you can find a community like that, or if you have like a group of friends and you guys are all interested in going, do what you got to do. Obviously, do it the legal way, but do what you have to do because it is a very cutthroat game out there to get. I mean, we're making this sound like the mafia, but it's not.
You are. I'm just listening. I'm mesmerized. I was going to let you just continue on. So, yeah. But no, you got a point though. You have to be. So basically, let's put it this way. So if this was like 2015, San Diego Comic-Con didn't utilize the security measures that they do now. I believe they didn't have RFID back then, but now they actually utilize it. So basically, it helps account to crowd control and all that. The reason being, for example, this happened for my badge. Um, Mary got into the actual purchasing part of the badge pickup and pick which dates. And for some reason, my Comic Con ID was not registering on hers, saying that it was already in use in another session. So I'm thinking, okay, because I think I needed Saturday still. So during returning registration, one of our fellow friends from our community got me Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So I needed Saturday and preview night. So Mary got into it, got through, and lo and behold, our other mutual friend already had me in there, but we didn't know about it, so we were frantically trying to figure out what was going on because there's no time to make these decisions. Basically, you have to have everything in front of you.
Well,
You have to have.
that's a lie. You're in for 15 minutes before they
Okay,
kick you out.
this is
But
coming from the guy who's never been in, so take it from Mary.
but um, the days sell out very quickly.
True.
So if you're not in to at least get your days locked into the cart, then you're SOL. But they give you time to actually put in your like card information and stuff like that.
Okay, okay. So yeah, it is a stressful process, but once you got all that stuff going on, in my personal opinion, I think the next stressful thing is room and board. They call it Hotel Apocalypse for a reason. It's because downtown San Diego, and I think it's Mission Valley, the hotel circle there, they don't allow hotels bookings reservations for that week up until a certain point. So if you try to, like I mentioned, it's every third weekend in July, and try to book a room now. Uh, 9 times out of 10, I think even 100% of the time, they're not even going to accept that reservation.
They're going to be already sky high.
That, and I will tell you why, because long story short, this is a little bit of a Snapple facts in history. Uh, San Diego Comic Con was talking about, yeah. So San Diego Comic Con is a huge event, so they need to plan all this stuff up and everything. So the hotel apocalypse is one of the biggest things that where basically it's kind of like the batch pickup process. It's getting into the rooms, finding hotels, getting what you need, and getting it done. And you need more the better. And these rooms are also inflated in pricing. So
Yeah.
when it comes to actually getting the room, try to get it downtown, but you're going to be spending a lot more. The shuttle services take a very long time. If you plan on being in downtown, you don't need to utilize the shuttles. But if you're in Hotel Circle, which is about 6 miles out, yeah, I mean, but I like the scooters, but then they got rid of the scooters. But Um, Long story short, guys, we've been through the convention processes a lot. We've been to WonderCon, to LA Comic Con. We've been to a bunch of conventions. Me personally, BlizzCon. So if you guys have any questions or comments or want to know some more information about certain topics about conventions, go ahead and drop a comment below. Go ahead and uh, please, Mary and I will greatly appreciate it. Go ahead and drop a like. Tell your friends about this channel. We are going to be talking about these things because there's just so much to talk about in terms of the geek culture. Also, there's going to be different exhibit halls too that we tend to go to. I know Pasadena Comic Con or City Comic Con. Everybody's got a Comic Con, but it's not the Comic Con.
Yeah.
So with that, Mary, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, like before we sign off, I will say we touched on San Diego very lightly, but this is only just the beginning. Once we get closer into con season, so obviously 2020, you will see a lot more videos. So we'll actually have a video detailing Hotel Apocalypse. We'll have a video detailing like Comic Con prep lists or like what to bring,
Survival guides. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
survival
whew.
guides, like anything about like the lotteries or for all you cosplayers, like we might even touch onto that. If I can get Danny to cosplay with me, we'll definitely touch into that.
Well,
We're gonna have a lot more.
we will. I'm not even going to say anything, but yes, we will. And if you guys want to hear about what I was potentially going to be cosplaying as, but the weather kind of changed that, go ahead and drop a comment and I'll go ahead and respond to it. So until then, guys, stay tuned for more content and we'll see you out. And don't forget,
Don't
I'm
forget.
not even, I'm not even going to delete that. That's going to be on there for a little chuckle. Don't forget to geek out. Take it easy, guys.